Man likes to party. He loves to celebrate, throw a feast. The reality is, Yahweh does too. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10 Minute toward day 4 of Emor, to speak or to speak gently. And we are now in Vayikra chapter 23, Leviticus 23, and we'll read the first 4 verses. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, the appointed times of Yahweh, which you are to proclaim as set-apart gatherings. My appointed times are these. 6 days a work is done, but the 7th day is a Shabbat of rest, a set-apart gathering. You do no work. It is a Shabbat to Yahweh in all your dwellings. These are the appointed times of Yahweh, set-apart gatherings, which you are to proclaim at their appointed times." And then we read in the following verses the outline of the 7 days of feasting, or celebration, or holy or set-apart convocations, gatherings of Yah. Where we read the word appointed times, or the phrase appointed times, most of you know it is the Hebrew word moedim, the plural of moed. And we find something interesting all the way back in the book of Genesis, chapter number 1, all the way back to the beginning, where it says in verse 14, "And Elohim said, let lights come to be in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs." We have this phrase again. "And appointed times, and for days and years." And yes, the word there is indeed moedim. So a study of the heavens, the planetary lights, the sun, moon, stars, counting days, months, years, excuse me, all of that leads up to an understanding of how to determine when the feast days are rightly to appear. A brief note here to begin. Currently, at the time of this recording, there is somewhat of a inter-body debate between, again, a calendar issue, whether you follow after the Hillel calendar or the Zadok calendar or some other version. And again, unfortunately, it has become not something that we can enjoy a spirited debate about. And when it's all said and done, go on and be the body of Messiah, it has become divisive. Well, if you don't see it my way, I'm out of here. That mindset and attitude doesn't build anything. So I can't sit here and tell you the difference between one calendar and the next necessarily. Scripture tells us to look to the heavens and watch and count. I don't know if that's the resolve or not, but find things that heal us and not separates us. That being said, Yah says, "I have these appointed times. These are my moedim." Moed, it comes from the root word ya'ad. If you want to transliterate that, it's Y-A apostrophe A-D, a yod, an ayin, and a dalet. The basic root of this word, it means to appoint, to design, or to designate. If we go over to the book of Amos, chapter 3, and we read a very familiar verse in verse 3, it says in this translation, the Scripture's translation, "Would two walk together without having met? How can two walk together unless they agree?" That's another translation. A better way of understanding this is, as Mike Clayton has taught, and Mike, I'll give you credit here, how can two walk together unless they have a common destiny? There is an understanding that it's more than happenstance that cause two people to come together on the same path. It's more than just, hey, I'll meet you there tomorrow at such and such time, and we'll walk together. It's more than that. It is an idea that there was a predestined order of things that goes beyond human intervention. It is suggesting that how can two walk together unless Yah has set them up and put them on the same path so that they would meet along the same route and learn to walk together. If we think about things in those terms, then the people who are now a part of our lives in a fruit-bearing, beneficial way, we should understand then that Yah set us up, favorably so, righteously so that we can learn to walk together. Just because we show up on the same path at the same time and it's obvious, okay, I see that Yah's up to something other here, we need to learn to partner together, it doesn't mean that there might be some butting the heads along the way or that we're going to walk together because we automatically agree on everything. How could that even possibly be how could that even happen? No way. It is the process of learning to walk together where iron is sharpening iron, where differences are worked out, where we learn to forgive and release, and all of those things that we've heard talked about so many times. We learned to walk together. It's not automatic. Such as it is then with the feast days. We learn to get along in the feast days. We observe differently. And some people observe Pesach at home and privately with the family. Some want to do corporate gatherings. Same thing with Shavuot. Do you weigh 2 loaves of bread? Do you even meet? What do you do? Do you do a mikvah before? Do you do something after? Sukkot famously is very, very different. Large groups, small groups, families that just stay together. If you're observing, I celebrate with you. I will learn to walk along with you and celebrate with you. I may not prefer your preferences, but that's neither here nor there. That should not separate us. And then there is another word that Moed is connected to, and that is the word Idah, which we normally translate as congregation. In Psalms chapter 82, the first verse says, Elohim stands in the Idah of El. He judges in the midst of the mighty ones. Yah stands up in the midst of the congregation. So when the congregation, the appointed ones, is an idea that we would understand from that word. Those who are the called and appointed assembly of the Most High. When they learned to walk together, when they learned to assemble without trampling one another or fighting over which place that they stand. Remember, Yeshua taught several times in the song, parables is the word I'm looking for, about fighting for seats of significance. When we prefer our brothers, and no, the higher place belongs to you. You take that. I'll sit back. When we learn to do that, then Yah stands up in the midst of us. We talked already this week about the desire for the divine presence, about the manifested light and glory of the Most High in the midst of us. Oh, Yah, let your fire fall again among your people and burn brightly in the midst of us. Send your power and your authority. A part of that is learning to walk in the Moedim together. And it all begins on Shabbat, resting, learning to assemble together in a day of rest. First and foremost, keeping Shabbat sets you up to learn and study about the feast days so that you can rightly enjoy them. Let's learn to do these things and have Yah stand up in the midst of us. Oh, Yah, hasten that day and hasten tomorrow so we can see each other again. Until then, shalom.